Thank you. Representative Mullen.
Thank you, Chairman. You know, understanding the Constitution and the 10th Amendment, it says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are resolved to the states respectively or the people. And I state that because in Oklahoma, we've been fracking since 1948. We have over 190,000 current active wells. Last year alone, we issued 10,000 fracking permits with no water contamination ever reported due to fracking. And, you know, as a small business owner, this is exactly the duplicate agencies that drive me nuts. You know, independent producers are the ones that's going to take this on the chin. We're talking about those that go out every day, work as hard as they can, and start the day every day the same, with hope that they're going to be able to make a living not just for themselves, but everybody around them. In my district of Oklahoma, we're one of the poorest districts in the country. Yet underneath all of our feet's an abundant amount of natural resources. And to hear the federal government say that they've got to come in on top of that because we're not doing a good enough job is almost laughable. And Ms. Kendall, I know you're doing your job, and ma'am, I respect you for doing it. But what you said a while ago by there's no evidence that it's not contaminating it is absurd and laughable. In the country that we live in, you have to be found guilty before you are guilty. And yet what the federal government is, what you just stated, that's a comment that would only come out of Washington, D.C. It makes no sense, which I know common sense doesn't exist up here. I get that. But don't you think that the states know what's best? Ma'am, we're talking about possibly even increasing our dependency on foreign oil. If we can issue a permit in 30 days, and we're talking maybe up to a year for the federal government to issue this, it's going to only hurt and cause us to continue to buy more and more oil from countries that don't like us and more gas from countries that don't like us. And so, Ms. Kendall, I'm going to give you an opportunity to maybe clarify what you said, because I really hope that you don't believe the statement that you made a while ago.
I did not mean to suggest that it's incumbent on the industry to prove that they've never had an incident of contamination. But there is a great deal of information, groundwater tests that have been done, and most of that is held by the industry. Some of it's held by state regulators. Very little of it is in the public domain. And what we are saying is that we think baseline water quality and quantity tests should be done, that those should be publicly available.
The state's already doing that, though. So why is it the federal government's responsibility? I mean, the state of Oklahoma, what I'm saying is the state of Oklahoma has no reports. There's no reports of water contamination happening or has happened in Oklahoma. And so why does the federal government feel like it's their responsibility to prove the state's wrong?
I'm not familiar with the regulations in the state of North Dakota, and in Oklahoma. I don't know if they're required in North Dakota, but most of the states I'm familiar with do not require baseline water quality tests or ongoing water quality tests.
So still yet my question is where is the federal government coming up with the idea that they've got to get involved now? I mean, this has been going on for over 60 years. So now underneath this administration, for whatever agenda purpose they are driven by, they all of a sudden feel like that they've got to jump in and put their 2 cents in it?